have the space in some of our buildings, not all of our buildings. So it's not insurmountable, but those are some of the things we have to consider regarding the financial implication. We have money in the CARES Act to sustain, like I said earlier, to sustain the MOA, but unfortunately we can't necessarily grow it because we don't. Plus, there's not teachers out there to actually hire in the MOA. We really sort of searched long and hard to get our teachers that we have in the MOA right now, and Assistant Superintendent Lodge spent several weeks, really tracking down those teachers from across the region. But if we had a 10%, not only do we not have the financial resources, we may not have the staffing out there that could really do it. So then we're looking at, probably going back to our classroom teachers and encouraging a few more of them to go into the MOA. But we won't know that until we open the enrollment. But the financial implications are there, but it's also dependent on how many staff we can find.
Thanks. Any other questions? I have one more, but I don't want to ask mine until everyone else has had some questions asked too. So I'm looking at the guidance for the task force, and so this question might actually be moving toward asking the task force for information, but at least I'm trying to wrap my brain around the fact that the science side of things, there's pretty good data. I mean, we know what the county asked, and typically in education, it's just, that kind of testing only happens maybe 3 times in Montana. Developing some metric to measure educational progress or deficiencies, because I've done a lot of reading both nationally and at the state level, and I haven't seen any yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen any metrics regarding the educational side. I have seen quite a few predictive studies of what they expect students will, what the impacts will be. I've also seen quite a lot of research on social, emotional, mental health type of stuff, and so there's some good studies out there. I haven't seen anything at the state level with regards to what other districts have investigated with that, and I definitely haven't seen any of these models that use those sorts of metrics as decision-making models. I do think in the secondary indicators, so if you look at those models, they all have the 2 primary indicators and then they have some secondary indicators. I think you'll start to see some of that there, like have you considered, food insecurity, or have you considered academic data? I think those things could be brought in, but I haven't seen any metrics around those.
Any other Trustee Avgaris?
So why aren't we having a discussion about athletics? And Trustee Olperson, I totally sympathize and I understand. I played football and basketball in high school, and is why I went to school. It was a mental health thing for me as well. But we have anecdotal, and it's not just 1 or 2 cases. I had a case yesterday, a 2nd grade kid that I taught in Cub Scouts, that he's a great student, excels, and he's in tears at the end of the week because he only goes to school 2 days a week, and his mom's having a tough time teaching him. And this isn't just one case. This is happening out there. And so the mental health of these kids, for us not to be able to get them back into school 4 or 5 days a week, I don't know if it's being sacrificed because athletics is having a few outbreaks. I don't